Hello everybody, welcome to the channel. My name is JGod. Hopefully you're having an amazing day. In today's video, we're going to talk about the biggest mistake I think a lot of players make, and that is not spending enough time looking at the minimap. And I know there's a bunch of people watching the video thinking, that's not that big of a mistake. I'm pretty sure I look at the minimap, and I can almost guarantee you that you're not looking at the minimap nearly as often as you should be. I'm going to show off a little bit of gameplay from another YouTuber. You guys might have heard of him. His name is Dysmo. He has over 1 million subscribers. And for those of you that aren't familiar with who Dysmo is, he's an all-around beast at the game and makes quality content geared towards entertaining the audience. So we're going to actually do two different things in this video. Number one is we're going to take a look at his gameplay using his eye tracker. And for those of you unfamiliar with what an eye tracker is, he basically hooks it up to his system. It watches his eyes and it'll put a little white circle wherever he looks on the screen. And then I'm going to go ahead and provide a few different tips so we can actually make this process easier, because there's actually in-game settings which will make it easier for you to look at the minimap. So I'm going to walk through both of those things. So also, if any of you want to actually try and guess how many times Dysmo looks at the minimap per minute, go ahead and comment down below. Even if you need to pause the video, you could do that. Comment down below, go ahead and press play, and then we'll go ahead and jump into the gameplay. So obviously this is your first time maybe seeing an eye tracker, and how it works is that little circle you're seeing move around the screen is exactly what he's looking at. A lot of time you'll see when he's in a gunfight, it's center mass looking directly at the target. But you can see how fast it's moving from the center of the screen back up to the corner. Every time he looks at the minimap, you can see the counter right to the left of his actual webcam counting up. The number right below the webcam is actually time in seconds. So you can see it's getting pretty high up there, and it's only been 30 seconds. And the thing you're going to really want to pay attention to is, even though it's a cut live comm, look at the frequency at which he looks at that minimap. Pretty much when he's not in an engagement, it is looking at that minimap constantly. Even there's points in the video where you're thinking that there's no way he's going to look at the minimap in this second, and automatically looks at the minimap. And being 100% honest with you, this was not my original idea for the video. What I was really trying to do was kind of break down his gameplay using what he's looking at, and kind of break down his mechanics as he moves through the gameplay. But since it's a cut live comm, a little bit harder to do. And even though I feel like I look at the minimap a lot, I do not have an eye tracker equipped to my setup, so there's no way I could actually produce this video for you without going out of my way to actually buy an eye tracker. But after actually breaking down the footage and adding up the total number of times he actually looks at the minimap, I feel like I can even improve further in this aspect when it comes to my own personal development as a player. And I know a lot of times people come to the comment section and said, well, I don't really know where to look. And it's very hard to explain it without visual evidence when you're talking about it. And this gives you perfect visual evidence. And you can see how quick his information gathering is. He'll look at the minimap for a microsecond, look at it real quick, and then look back to the middle of the screen, look at it real quick, back to the middle of the screen. And if he's in prolonged gunfights like he was right there, where he went up against 3 different people, he ends up staring at the middle of the screen a lot longer. So you can see that target acquisition, minimap. And that's kind of a pattern he runs with. Every 2 seconds or so, he's looking at that minimap again, especially if there's no target in front of him. And then every once in a while, he'll go ahead and take a peek at the medals, look at his score streaks, and also look at the kill feed. Not really anything special there. I'm sure those are things that we look at every once in a while. But for the most part, all of his attention is on the middle of the screen, minimap. Middle of the screen, minimap. And I think for those of you out there that are struggling to go on longer streaks, you're not necessarily sure how to pay attention, you got to get in the pattern of actually looking at both of these things rather quickly. You don't need to spend a ton of time on the minimap, and you don't need to spend all your time looking at the middle of the screen. It's kind of that combination of bouncing back and forth, and you get kind of into a rhythm. So we're getting very close to the end of this portion of the video, and then I'm going to walk you through some of the different things you can do to make it a lot easier on your end, and specifically with the settings. I've given this tip in the past when I did World War II videos right when Black Ops 4 came out. But since I have a lot more subscribers than when I did those first videos, I think there's a lot of you that have subscribed to the channel that probably do not know about this tip. And I think it's actually a pretty big tip, because every time I point it out, there's people who come to the comment section later on and say how helpful the tip is. So look, we're closing in on the final number here, 99, 100, 101, and I actually skipped one at 19. So it ended up being 102 times he looked at the minimap. And when we combine that number with the time in seconds, we end up with 32 times per minute Dysmo is looking at the minimap while playing Call of Duty Black Ops 4. And personally, that number is way higher than I ever expected it to be. I thought it'd be like 10 to 20 times a minute, but overall 32 is an extremely high number. Definitely something to strive for. Now let's go ahead and jump into that tip that's going to make it way easier for you to check out that minimap on a regular basis. And this tip is way more noticeable the larger the screen you are on. And for this part, depending on if you're on PlayStation or if you're on Xbox, it's going to be slightly different, the directions you're going to have to follow, but you will have in-game prompts. You go over to your settings, go ahead and check the graphic settings, and at the bottom of this list, there's an area that says safe area, and then it says preview. Once you click preview, it gives you specific instructions on how to make this viewable area as small as possible. If you're on Xbox, just follow the directions it says there. If you're on PlayStation, I'm actually going to walk you through those steps. So for the first step, you're going to have to go to your PlayStation settings. And once you're in your PlayStation settings, you're going to start to scroll down and you're going to look for one that is related to your screen. And this one is specifically called sound and screen. Once you click on that one, there's going to be an area that you can click called display area settings. And what you're going to want to do is make sure that you are shrinking this to as small as possible. Right here, you're going to see me enlarge it, but you're going to want it as small as possible. And I'm going to show you a before and after. So in the before, you can see that pretty much everything on the HUD is touching the corners, whether that's my score streaks, my weapon, my health on the bottom left, or my minimap. Now I'm going to go ahead and go to the menu. You're going to see how this looks. You can see the distance that it was between the center of the screen and the minimap. And like I've already mentioned, you're going to go ahead and shrink this to as small as possible. You're going to press X to enter, and that'll confirm it. And you'll notice that it didn't really do anything to our settings so far. But once we go back in game, look at how close that minimap is, the health, the gun, your little stuff in the bottom middle, as far as the streaks as well. And for the 2 times that I've done this in the past on the channel, there's always that 1 or 2 people that come to the comment section very skeptical, don't even try it out, talking nonsense about how it doesn't work for them. And I know they didn't try it out because their perspective when they're explaining it just doesn't add up. So hopefully you found the video helpful in some way. If you did, please remember to hit that like button. And if this is your first time to the channel, or you're one of those 80% that keep coming back for more, make sure you do subscribe with notifications on. You'll know you've done it once you make that red subscribe button turn gray. I can't thank you enough for supporting my content on a regular basis. Appreciate all that support. Thank you for watching. As always, have a great day.